If you're tired of Louis Vuitton's classic handbag lineup, bags like the Neverfull, Noe, Speedy, Alma, and Capucine, then this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to give you 8 uncommon and unexpected alternatives to those Louis Vuitton classics. These are great bags that I think are worth a second look. Hey there, this is Lula West Lux. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. And if you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by today. On my channel, I share advice on how to make smarter luxury shopping decisions based on my own personal experiences. I would love to have you subscribe so you can catch all of my future videos. I have 2 quick disclaimers to make before we jump into today's video. Number 1, regarding the Louis Vuitton classics, the Neverfull, Alma, Speedy, etc. I am not saying that those are bad bags or that you shouldn't buy those bags. They're classics for a reason, and they've stood the test of time for a reason because they are excellent bags. However, I wanted to shine a light on some alternative options because there's a lot of other really great bags at Louis Vuitton that are often overlooked and underrated. So I wanted to shine a light on those bags. If you already own the Louis Vuitton classics and you're looking for other options, I think these are great bags that you should look at. Or if you've tried any of those classic bags and they just didn't work out for you for whatever reason, also, I think these alternatives are great options that you should take a look at. And I also want to say that this is not an exhaustive list. This is not the end all be all. There's a ton of great Louis Vuitton bags out there. I just couldn't include every single one in this video because it would go on for hours and hours. If you have any other suggestions, any other alternatives, I would love for you to also share those in the comments below. So with that, let's dive into it. The first bag we're going to look at, and its alternative, is the Alma. This is the Alma PM in Damier Ebene. The Alma is about as classic as you can get for Louis Vuitton. This bag was first introduced in the 1920s, so it has a 100-year history at Louis Vuitton. Personally, I love the Alma. I think it's a great bag. I also own it in the smaller BB size here in Damier Azur. However, if this bag hasn't worked for you, if you've tried the Alma and it's just not your bag, but you like the style and the elegance of the Alma, I think a great alternative is the Cluny. I have the Cluny here in the BB size. This is the middle size of the Cluny. There's a larger size, the Cluny MM. Typically, you'll find the Cluny MM on preloved sites. Louis Vuitton really doesn't produce that bag anymore. But typically these days, if you're looking to buy new from the store, you will find either the Cluny BB size or the Cluny mini size, which is one size smaller than this. That's the most popular size currently of the Cluny. My version that I have here is obviously in epi leather, in red, and this bag is from 2016. So this was an early version of the Cluny. I believe the Cluny first came out in around 2015. There have been some slight changes made to the bag over the years. For example, the hardware here has changed, so the top handle is a little bit different on the new version of the Cluny, but other than that, small tweaks here and there, it's basically the same bag. We have a flap style opening, and this has an incredibly strong and secure magnet. I love it. There's a zip pocket inside, the rest is open, and then it does come with a crossbody strap. And all the Clunies come with a crossbody strap and a top handle. This is available in epi leather, as we see here. It's also available in canvas, in either Damier Ebene or monogram canvas. And I think this is a great alternative to the Alma. particularly if you've tried this style of bag, if you've wanted to like the Alma, but it just didn't work out for you. I think you will love this bag. The Clooney has the same aesthetic, in my opinion, the same vibe as the Alma. It is a very classic bag. It's a very ladylike style, and it has a really nice understated elegance to it. I feel like whenever I wear the Alma with an outfit, it really elevates the outfit and it adds a really nice elegance to the look. And I feel the same way about the Clooney. So I think this is a really, really great alternative if you like that feminine, elegant look. The Clooney is a great bag to look into. The next bag we have to discuss is the Speedy, and I have two alternatives for the Speedy. Of course, this is a classic of Louis Vuitton. It's been around since the 1930s, and the Speedy's been super popular the last few years, particularly with the new Speedy P9 produced by Pharrell. I have two alternatives for the Speedies. One I think is pretty obvious. The other alternative is a little more out there, but I love, love, love the second alternative. The first one, which I think is pretty obvious, is the Keep All from the men's collection, specifically the Keep All 25 and the Keep All XS, which is roughly comparable to the Speedy 20 size. And the reason I'm choosing this as an unexpected alternative is mostly because the Keep All is produced as part of the men's collection only. They're produced in a lot of special collections. You can get some really cool, unique, limited edition versions of the Keep All in seasonal colors and seasonal prints. That's my number one alternative. My number two alternative is the Papillon. I really like the Papillon, and I think this is a really great alternative because it's an older bag that is not produced a lot by Louis Vuitton these days. So I don't see a lot of Papillons when I'm out and about, and I think if you get a Papillon, it's a really unique bag and it tends to stand out. The Papillon was originally introduced in the 1960s, and it is a cylindrical barrel-shaped bag, and it has two straps with a really nice strap drop. There are some editions of the Papillon that have been produced in later years with a crossbody strap, particularly an empreinte. So there's a lot of options out there for the Papillon, but I love it because it's really not currently produced by Louis Vuitton. They will occasionally produce a Papillon as part of a special collection, but it's currently not part of their permanent collection. I have also seen that the Papillon will be included in the upcoming Takashi Murakami collaboration in the Cherry Blossoms print that will be released in March. If that second drop is anything like the multicolor, it might be pretty hard to get. But I did want to mention that the Papillon is a great option to look on the pre-loved and the vintage market for this bag. It does come in 3 different sizes. I should mention the sizes quickly. Most common, you'll see the Papillon 19. That is comparable in size to the Speedy 20. The numbers refer to the centimeter measurements in length. So this is 20 centimeters in length. This is the Speedy 20. The Papillon 19 is just 1 centimeter shorter. And of course, it's not as tall because the side is round. It is a cylinder. So it is a bit shorter in the height as well. There's also a Papillon 26, which would be comparable in size to the Speedy 25, just slightly smaller because the height is a lot smaller than on the Speedy. And there's also the Papillon 30, which is the largest size of the Papillon. And again, that would be comparable in size to the Speedy 30 centimeters across. But again, much shorter because the side is round. Sorry, I hope that was clear. That was not very well said. But the Speedy is a great bag if you're looking for an alternative. I also recommend the Keepall and the Papillon. The next bag I have to discuss is the Neverfull MM. The Neverfull needs absolutely no introduction. I think everyone who's interested in Louis Vuitton has had a Neverfull at one point, or this is a bag that they refuse to get because it is basic and overdone, according to some people, not me. So if you have the Neverfull or you just don't like it, two alternatives I have to suggest are the Carryall MM and the Low-Key MM. So let me explain why I'm recommending both of these. This is the Carryall in the smaller PM size. As an alternative to the Neverfull, I recommend the larger MM size. The Carryall MM is comparable in size to the Neverfull MM. So not only is the Carryall MM comparable in size, but in the leather version, it features a zip closure, as you can see here on the smaller size. That is one complaint that a lot of people have about the Neverfull is the opening, right? There's really no closure. It's just open on top. It's not secure. The Carryall MM, like its smaller sister here, does have a zip closure. A lot of people also complain that the straps on the Neverfull are thin, so they dig into your shoulder. Also, it's a very short strap drop. The Carryall solves that issue with this really nice thick strap, and it is long. It's adjustable on both sides. Again, this is the smaller one, but on the MM size, does have the same amounts of adjustments. So the carrying options and the closure on the Carryall MM, I think, make it a really great alternative to the Neverfull. One downside to the Carryall MM is it is a lot more expensive than the Neverfull MM. The Carryall in leather, which is what I recommend, is $3,200. So even compared to the Neverfull in leather, it is a more expensive option. I should mention why I'm specifically recommending it in leather is for that zipper closure. The Carryall MM in monogram canvas does have an opening. It doesn't have a zip closure, same as the Neverfull MM. If that opening doesn't bother you, the Carryall MM in canvas is also a really great alternative. The second alternative is the Low-Key Hobo MM. And I kind of have to eat my words on the Low-Key because when it was first released, I really didn't like the bag. I thought it was a little too plain and it didn't really offer a lot in terms of features. However, since I've seen the bag, I don't own the Low-Key MM, but since I've seen it in stores and I've gotten to play around with it a little bit, it is actually a very good bag, and I think it makes a great alternative. If you're looking for a bag to use for school or work where you might not want to have a huge designer logo, the Low-Key really doesn't have any logos on it. There's a very small foil stamping on the bottom front of the bag, and there's a very small LV monogram embossed on the lock on the side of the bag. But other than that, there's no logos. So I think the Low-Key Hobo MM is a great alternative if you're looking for a bag for work or school. I like the Hobo MM size as an alternative because it is comparable in size to the Neverfull MM. There is also a larger tote size of the Low-Key. It's called the Low-Key Cabas. The only reason I'm not recommending that bag as an alternative is the price. It's a lot more expensive than the Neverfull by about $2,000. And it's also much larger. It's comparable in size to the Neverfull GM. So I think the size is a little too big in my opinion, unless you absolutely need all that space. I think the Low-Key Hobo MM is a great alternative. It's a little bit smaller, and it's a lot less expensive than the low-key Cabas. So that's my second alternative that I recommend to the Neverfull, the low-key MM. The next bag I want to discuss is the classic Noe, and this is the bucket bag that Louis Vuitton introduced in the 1930s. They still make it today in a variety of sizes and colors, as well as its younger cousin, the Neonoe. This was Louis Vuitton's redesign of the classic Noe bucket bag. This was introduced in 2017, the Neonoe. So those are the two most popular bucket bag styles from Louis Vuitton, but another bucket bag that I think is amazing and totally underrated at Louis Vuitton is the Bella. This is part of Louis Vuitton's Mahina line, and Mahina refers to the perforated leather that they use to make this bag. And the Bella's been around, but it's really under the radar. I love the bags in the Mahina range. The Mahina leather is really luxurious. It's a very nice calfskin leather that they use for these bags. It's very soft and supple. The leather smell is also really great on these bags. It's a very nice alternative to the classics. Bella is roughly the size of the Noe BB. It's slightly smaller than the Noe BB. There is a larger size of the Bella called the Bella Tote. There's also smaller sizes all the way down to the Bella Pico, which is super tiny. You can barely fit anything in that bag. But if you're looking for a Noe alternative, I do recommend the standard Bella size. They do tend to release this bag in different seasonal colors throughout the year, and they're very beautiful. The biggest downside to the Bella is it's very expensive. Bags in the Mahina line do tend to be on the more expensive side. The Bella is priced currently at $4,150 US, so it is much more expensive than the Noe. However, if you're open to buying pre-loved, bags in Mahina leather don't hold their value very well, so you can find the Bella on the pre-loved market for well below retail value. So if price is holding you back, I highly recommend to shop pre-loved for the Bella, and I think it's a wonderful alternative to the classic Noe and Neonoe. I have one other alternative to recommend for the Noe. However, this is a recommendation with reservations because I haven't actually seen this bag in person yet. This has just been released a couple weeks ago, and it's the new all-in bucket bag. This was just released as part of the collaboration with Takashi Murakami in white multicolor. I did go to my local store, but they didn't have the all-in stock when I was in store, so I didn't get to see it yet. This bag will be released in regular monogram canvas in the all-in BB size as well as the all-in GM size. It will also be released in empreinte leather in black. The newer versions in monogram canvas and empreinte leather, those are releasing at the end of January 2025. One thing I really love about the all-in is that it has an adjustable extender strap, so you can wear it as a shoulder bag, or you can add on the extender strap and wear it as a crossbody. So I do like the options for carrying this bag. There's a lot of versatility. I also like that this style is different in that it doesn't have a drawstring closure. All the other bucket bags, the classic Noe, the Neonoe, and the Bella, all have drawstring closures. But if you're not a fan of the drawstring closure, the all-in could be a great bag for you. It's open at the top with a magnetic closure, and then there's additionally a D-hook and a clasp. So you can do the magnetic closure and the clasp and really cinch it in on the top without needing to use a drawstring. That's another alternative that you might want to look into. It's the brand new for 2025 all-in bucket bag. The last bag I want to discuss today is the Capucine. This might seem slightly out of left field because all the other bags I discussed today, the Alma, Speedy, Noe, and Neverfull, are more entry-level bags at Louis Vuitton. They are produced in monogram canvas, and they're some of the most popular bags that Louis Vuitton sells the most of. But I also wanted to include the Capucine because it is Louis Vuitton's highest high-end bag. It is the creme de la creme at Louis Vuitton. So I did want to suggest an alternative to the Capucine. This is actually a newer bag at Louis Vuitton. It's been around for a little over a decade. It was introduced by the current creative director, Nicolas Ghesquière, in 2013. But an alternative, if you want a formal or elegant bag, I think you should take a second look at the Rose Devant. This is such a beautiful bag at Louis Vuitton, and it is so underrated for a good reason, because Louis Vuitton has made this bag a little bit harder to get. The Rose Devant used to be produced in leather by Louis Vuitton. They have unfortunately discontinued that. You can find leather Rose Devants on the preloved market. Currently, though, Louis Vuitton only produces the Rose Devant in exotic leathers. So it is a little bit pricier. You do have to buy this bag in exotic leather if you want to get it new. They do produce this in a whole variety of exotic leathers, including ostrich, lizard, I believe karung, and python, and of course crocodile leather, which is the most expensive. They do make some slightly less expensive versions, the mixed exotic Rose Devants. So these bags are mostly in Torillon leather with an exotic accent on the bag. Here's one in crocodile leather that was released last year in 2024. So they are very pricey. They're typically not offered to most clients, but if you are looking for a special bag, something on the level of the Capucine, take a look at the Rose Devant. It is a very uncommon bag. You do not see them a lot. It's very unexpected, and it is such a beautiful alternative to the Capucine. Those are all of the suggestions I have in today's video. Of course, this list is not exhaustive, as I said earlier. So if you have other suggestions, please drop them in the comments section below. I would love to hear what other uncommon and unexpected bags at Louis Vuitton that you recommend other people should take a look at. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. With that, I will leave another video up here for you to watch next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.